Dun, 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 dun. So stupid.
He hit the fox.
That is the better theme out of them and CBS.
Yeah.
All right, kids, this is Footballed, and this is episode 3, I think. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm not sure. And this is kind of like the preview of the week here, which is just cool to say, honestly.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where, remember, we're supposed to be recapping what happened throughout the week, or we're supposed to be recapping what happened on the previous week.
Thursday.
Yeah. And then we see what happened on Thursday, and then we're giving you the last finishing touches for Saturday. So this episode on Saturday. That's the last finishing touches. Now, we didn't have a full NFL week to kind of give you to recap or go off of, but we did have a Thursday night game.
Mhm.
And your thoughts on that Thursday night game? Did it feel like a Thursday? You know how like Thursday night games typically aren't
Bad.
really fireworks.
They're bad.
Huh?
They're
Yeah,
bad. Let's call it as
okay.
it is. They're bad.
Did you feel like this Thursday was that same, even though it was to open up the season? Did you feel like it was?
I think it was good. I mean, I feel like, and it's weird because I feel like if the Chiefs would have won, I would have been like, not a fun game. But the fact that Detroit won, that just added a cool thing. And let's kind of be honest, Danny Campbell going with the fake punt,
On his own,
straight up momentum switch. Oh, beautiful. And then it led to a touchdown.
They didn't even score on that drive, but just the sheer.
No, they did.
balls.
No, they did. That was the only offensive touchdown that they scored.
Oh, that was on that same.
No, I'm sorry. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
No, because the first drive, I think they fizzled out.
Yeah, it was a 3-and-out, and then that drive, that's the one that Goff threw. He just drove him down and threw it to St. Brown, and then they had the pick six, and then Monty drove it in, later in the game. But I thought it was fun. I thought it was definitely a coming out party a little bit. Yeah, it was sloppy. It's always gonna be sloppy in the literal first game, but I just think it's a feel good story to kind of have Detroit come out there and kind of do the thing, and it just shows you how important Kelsey is.
And we're talking fantasy. Who do you think was the most productive player fantasy-wise in that game?
I mean, I don't know about the most productive, but St. Brown is like, yeah,
St. Brown.
dude.
That's my pick because I have him in one of my other leagues, and don't get me wrong, the highest score on both teams was Patrick Mahomes, but it wasn't
barely though.
It wasn't a typical Patrick Mahomes performance.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he barely
I mean, in our league, I was projected to get 45, maybe 50 points out of him, and I only got 30. So Patrick Mahomes, to another quarterback, that's okay, but I'm disappointed as far as what happened with Patrick Mahomes. And the guy I was playing in another league, he had like 23 points. St. Brown got me 19. So him playing his quarterback and me playing a receiver, I got a leg up on him because he played his QB. I played just a receiver that got just as much as him. So
all I had was Goff. I only had Goff going, and Patrick Bear. Like if we look at it here, I'm going to pull it up here, so you're going to lose me, but whatever.
Yeah.
Because looking at it here,
he had more yards receiving. I mean, yards receiving, like Goff is receiving the damn thing. Yards.
Well,
passing.
Here, let me read off the line here. So you had 22 completions for 253 yards, a pass TD. He got sacked once, and he got me 32 points. We go ahead and look at.
Oh, and you're penalized for sacks?
Yeah, we got penalized for sacks. Yeah.
Shit, I didn't even know that.
yeah, and he was projected to get me 40. He got me 32. So he only had
one passing touchdown.
Yeah. We pivot over to you. You were projected to get 47, and Patty only got you 35, but he had 21 completions, 226 yards, two pass,
pick six.
Yeah, two pass and tutties
away from him.
Yeah, and that pick six that took away from him. He had 45 rushing yards, so that kind of offset that a little bit.
Yeah,
but I mean, you talk about,
I mean, that's the difference between I have 5 points. I could have had 41 points if he didn't throw up a pick six that wasn't even his fault. It was fucking Kadarius Toney's fault.
Yeah,
pissed me off.
But I mean, all in all, I mean, at least on my side, I can't be necessarily too upset about it. Now, I mean, I have Derek Carr on the bench. I also have Geno Smith starting. So, I could realistically, I'm still projected to win, but I don't really go by those projections. If I really kind of needed to kind of pivot, I could go with my Derek Carr and Olave stack, but I don't necessarily. I drafted Geno way ahead of Carr. I think at this point in the season, you kind of want to put out the team that you drafted, unless something happens.
To begin with, I mean, when you're mid-season, fuck the projections, fuck what everybody feel. You go with your gut. But in the beginning, you do kind of stick to the ADP and stuff that's because
On you drafted those players for a reason.
For those of you that watch X's and O's, I mean, for those of you that watch football and football only, that we do have another show called X's and O's, and we did cover how giddy we are and how excited we are about tomorrow playing out. And there's so many questions that's going to be answered, but not specific. Like the questions aren't going to be fully answered, but they're almost going to be answered. It's almost like you ask a 2-part question to somebody and they answer at least the first part. And now you're waiting for the second part of the question to be answered. So at least you'll have a clue and an idea of how people are going to get used. Well, so right now we're just still in the dark.
I mean, one question that absolutely got answered on Thursday was how important Kelce is to that team. Holy shit.
Yeah.
My God.
I don't understand why they didn't go. I mean, the one guy that scored a touchdown, Rashee Rice or whatever his name is. I mean, he looks like he's going to be an up-and-coming star. I mean, he looks like he's going to be at least serviceable, but
I mean, who knows?
This whole offseason and didn't go get a big-name receiver. I don't understand that. Like, they don't have a big-name receiver.
I'm curious, and I don't know how much that has to do with Chris Jones.
And when DeAndre Hopkins was out there floating around, why wasn't they the first suitors? You let him get to the title.
Well, do we know what their cap is, though? Because I feel like they're trying to play. I don't know how much they're trying to dedicate to Chris Jones. If they're trying to do, you know what I mean? That's a big thing. And I don't know how much money is dedicated to Patty Mack right now. So it's like they may be in kind of salary cap, hell. Yeah. So, that may have something to do with it. And who knows what Hopkins wanted to, because I mean, you think about what's in Tennessee. Adam Thielen? Yeah, no.
No, he's a
Burks? Who? So, I mean, did he want to go somewhere where he is the number one?
He wanted to be the shiner?
Because you ain't going to KC and being that dude, because Kelsey's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to put my balls in your forehead and we're going to keep it moving. But, yeah, I think Thursday definitely showed, one, how important St. Brown is and how good he is, because he is stupidly good.
Yeah.
And honestly, for not playing through the preseason at all, I think Goff looked good. I think Goff looked
pretty sure. I think that
fine.
First drive he was a little off, but that's the first drive. And then after that, he was sharp. He was on point. And you know who? I was glad that your son didn't play. Josh Reynolds.
Yeah,
if he would have played him. That dude had some significant catches in that game.
And I definitely told him not to play him.
Thank you.
But you know what, though? It's that, and if nobody knows, Jermaine's actually playing my kid this week, so there's that. But yeah, and it was interesting because he got his first kind of taste of tilt and things like that. And I told him, look, You were going to play.
Takes a piss that the points is sitting on that bench.
Right. But I also told him, like, look, man, you would be a little silly to play Josh over Michael Gallup, because that was kind of his.
True.
Because neither one of them are like superstars, but I mean, Josh Reynolds does have his connection with Goff from the Rams. I get it, but I'm also like, you just, he's that kind of bigger play, kind of boomer bust kind of person. So
yeah, he's definitely that player that can go off for 90 yards, 6 catches, but he's also that player that can
go
get you 1 catch for 8 yards.
Exactly. And it's like, I stare at him on the bench, see what happens. I know we did have some news that kind of came out, came down the wire here today. So Cooper Kupp, IR, not playing for 4 weeks. I will say one thing about that. For what are you doing with your tongue? That was weird. I don't know what you did with your tongue. Yeah, it's fucking strange.
No, I mean,
so here's the thing.
That elevate Van Jefferson. Like, can Van Jefferson even operate as a number 1 receiver? Like, no. I don't know. I don't think he has the capability.
Well, and it's funny because that segues right into my kind of point there, because it, for new or returning fantasy people, depending on your league and all that stuff, do not run as soon as, and I know I did this with the next piece of news, so I'll talk about that, but you do not need to go and grab Van Jefferson off the waiver wire right now to start him because Cooper is out.
I actually got more faith in and he's out there. And
Tutu Atwell
about these shows about these shows. I'm like, dang, we won't be giving away our secrets. But yeah, Tutu Atwell, I definitely took a second look at him a couple times. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know until tomorrow happens. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know to make that move. I just don't.
Especially this early in the season. Now, if you're later in the season and you kind of, let's say it's week 8. Let's say this whole thing with Cooper happened
in mid-season
in week 8. Then yeah, at that point, yeah. And Van Jefferson has been showing that he is getting opportunities, he's getting play, and he's then going to get elevated. Then you go run there and get him. You don't have to burn priority or anything, but definitely kind of keep in consideration with your roster, what you're going to sacrifice, where you're going to play him. Are you going to play him? Are you just doing this to play?
Yeah, because Cooper Kupp going down, just because Jefferson is next on the depth chart, doesn't necessarily translate.
This is not a running back situation.
Definitely going to get all the opportunities. There could be a motherfucker sitting on the bench that you never heard of that becomes the number 1 there. So it's a wait and see approach. Like, you don't like with some running backs, you can automatically.
Right.
As soon as
running backs are a different
starter
thing.
Goes down with running backs, most of the time you can count on that next man up. But with receiver, I don't.
They have 5 receiver sets. They don't have 5 wide. They don't have 5 running back sets. You know what I mean? So like that's the thing. Like, usually the incumbent, you can trust that they're going to get first play, unless there is like a Lenny Fournette out there that don't have a job. That maybe, hey, look, Kamara just tore his ACL. Maybe we need
Kareem Hunt's still sitting out there.
Right. Well, there you go too. So. Those are those kind of wait and see type of things. But yeah, definitely in the beginning of the season, do not overreact to news. If you have a free roster spot, if you're in a deeper league and you have, I don't know, let's just say Bobby Trees, right? Just because you got Bobby Trees out there that you don't really know what's going to happen with that. And you had a Van Jefferson that just got elevated to a quote unquote number 1 spot. Does it make sense to drop Trees for that? Yeah, probably. But if
another thing that people make a mistake of is when the second or third wide receiver gets elevated or bumped up, that people don't realize is that now you become top priority, and the defenses that are playing against them now You're a receiver that used to running against slot corners. Now you're running against the second best corner. Or now
that's a great point.
One, you really think Van Jefferson can fucking shake Sauce Gardner coverage? No. So he's not built like that. So
but what's interesting about that concept is now what ends up happening is maybe that Tutu Atwell now becomes more sexy because now he's going up against
the second and the third corners.
But there's also the other side of that coin of like, well, you were kind of going against them before and you still weren't really doing it. Now you're just higher on the depth chart. So it's like, are you really getting elevated, or are you just now like going to get better routes? Which very well, I mean, that's how people develop. So,
but then it could be a mindset too, because a certain player, when they get elevated to certain players, like when they get elevated to a starting position, either you're going to react negatively, where they're like, "Hey, fuck it, I probably wasn't that good." But then some players, when they get elevated to either the number one or the number two, they step their game up because they finally feel like they are in the spotlight and they don't want to lose it. So they fucking play their ass off. So who knows what you're dealing with?
So to circle back, once again, it's a question and answer forum here. We don't know, and we're not going to know anything for 4 weeks. We just don't know. And I'm not talking about the Cooper Kupp thing. I'm saying just in general, you don't know a thing about what's going on in the season until 4 weeks in, because you can't base stuff off of last year. Because we already kind of
got to get at least a quarter of the season down. To me, the season is in quarters. It's just like a football game. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. And the season breaks down the same way. The first 4 games is the first quarter. Next 4 games is the fucking halftime. Next 4 games is the third quarter. And that last is the end of the game. So it's like, you have to judge it like that. So bodies of work don't get judged in 1 game or 1 week. You need 4 weeks, a body of work, 4 weeks, a pattern of what's happening. Right. And then sometimes those patterns shift based off upon injuries or a different direction or
the defense on the, if you're going against the Texans and, your first crack at wide receiver 1 is now against the Texans, you may ball out. People are like, "Oh my God, he's amazing," but it's like, it's the fucking Texans, man. You need to have.
Or you can even get a series. You can even get 2 or 3 games where you're playing against the Texans, and then you turn around and you play against the Cardinals or terrible teams, and you think you got a monster receiver, and then when they start going up against the 49ers, and they start going up against the Steelers, and they start going up against the Eagles and the Jets.
Jets, shit.
Those receivers ain't shit.
Right.
So you can't fall for those, potholes or manholes, whatever the fuck you want to call them.
So, I think the biggest kind of takeaway from that is just don't overreact. Now, with that being said, another piece of news. There you go. So another piece of news came out while we were recording before. Mark Andrews. I know he was kind of on, maybe not.
And not in our league. You got him in our league, but I got him in like 3 other leagues. So I got to chill. I got to definitely make some moves as soon as we get off of here, because I already knew I had already. No. That's the league I had Kittle in. I had Okonkwo ready because I knew that he was questionable. With the leagues with Andrews, I'm going to go with his backup, which isn't that your route.
Yep.
Isaiah Likely. Because Lamar loves throwing to the tight end. I don't care who it is. Yeah. His skill set has only, and I'm not knocking Lamar. I'm basing my evaluation off of what Lamar has put on tape. And what Lamar has put on tape is he don't like throwing outside the numbers. He only likes throwing in the middle of the field. And for those of you that don't know or have heard this term outside the numbers, on an NFL field, when you look down the field, there are the numbers, the 20, the 30, the 40, the 50. Most of his passes is in between the numbers, those numbers, and inside that space. Outside the numbers is where the receivers are, right there on the corners. Lamar does not throw to those receivers outside them numbers. So Isaiah Likely could be a serviceable pick because he's going to continue to throw in the middle of the field.
And so literally as that news broke, because I was looking at Likely all week, it's like, dude, I'm not really trying to pick him up to clog the roster with 2 tight ends. Who wants to do that? Nobody wants to do that anyway.
I don't like, I know I told you I do it for just tradition, but I don't like having 2 tight ends on my roster. Like, they have no purpose. I only need 1. I don't need 2.
Right. And normally you're not gonna, like, you're just gonna stream somebody at that point. You're like, all right, man, let me just see kind of what else is available. But in this instance, I went for Isaiah Likely, the backup tight end for them, because he has shown that he is a very talented, receiver. And if this was another team, honestly, I can't think of another team that I would.
You would just fade the tight end at that point. You would just either find somebody to stream or fade them. But because the tight end position is so important to the Baltimore Ravens and to Lamar Jackson, it's probably best to pick that dude up.
And I did immediately. Like, I panic picked him, not because I was he
stopped our last podcast. Just
goddamn right I did. Because once again, there is. I mean, let's just for poops and giggles here, take a look and see what is actually on the tight end waiver wire here. All right. So top of the list, well, Noah Gray, that doesn't count. Musgrave from Green Bay.
What about that Greg Dulcich dude? Is he out there?
I believe Dulcich is there, but he's now he's now the backup to Troutman. So we're looking at Hunter Henry, Tyler Conklin, Jake Ferguson from Dallas, Hunter Hurst, Dawson Knox, which is interesting because
Buffalo drafted a young kid tight end, Kincaid.
Yeah.
And he's on your friend's roster, right?
Yeah. So it's interesting because there actually are options out there that I could pivot to, but knowing
what
you right
as heavy as Baltimore is.
Right. Knowing what you know of that player and how that team operates. And you don't always want to trust what happened last year, but I think he had a large enough sample size to kind of show, hey, this is what I'm bringing to the table. So
very serviceable. He's not on Mark Andrews level, but he's very serviceable.
He is much better than about 2/3 of the league because we all know tight end is an absolute coin flip. If you don't have those,
it's a dumpster fire position. It really is.
It really is. It really is. It is a very streamable.
Travis Kelce up here, then Mark Andrews right there, and then everybody else.
I mean, maybe Waller. Maybe Kittle, Waller happens.
Maybe Kittle and Waller.
Man,
and then
Kittle can't stay healthy.
After that, flip a coin, like you said.
You have no idea. Like, there's maybe 5. I can't even think of a 5. Maybe Freiermuth because
Freiermuth. Yeah, you could throw Freiermuth in the same boat with Kittle and Waller, maybe. No,
that just doesn't
feel a little bit below them.
He is definitely below them. I mean, I just can't think of anyone else that would. I mean, I guess Dalton Schultz. Yeah,
he plays for Houston now. He don't even play in
who's Philly? What's
Goddard? Yeah,
Goddard, there we go.
I would put Freiermuth with Goddard. Yeah,
I'd put Goddard above Freiermuth.
Yeah,
easy.
True.
But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where this is the time of the day where you want to really kind of pay attention because this is when the news is going to drop. But we are going to do a little bit of a segment here. I'm kind of throwing this at you without really telling you, but it's going to be a reoccurring thing. Yeah, that's what I fucking do. Strap in there, Buttercup. So, each Saturday show, because it's obviously we're reviewing what happened Thursday and previewing kind of what our team is going to be going through, and ideally your teams too. And we may even start doing live shows. That would be really kind of a cool thing too. But I kind of feel like what we can start doing here is each of us on Saturdays come with 3 questions we have about our team or 3 decisions we're having to make. See what I'm saying? And kind of like break that down a little bit. Have it be little kind of quick hits. Don't like focus 5 minutes per thing, but say like, yeah, this is kind of my roster thing I'm dealing with here. We're not going to do it this week because we already kind of went over. You're gonna play who you drafted. You know,
Yeah.
the only pivot you're gonna make is.
The only thing I want to recap about that Thursday game is though a couple opinions of yourself. What do you think about the new running back, the Jahmyr Gibbs? And what do you think about Montgomery? Like, how would you feel if you had Montgomery on your team? Would you feel confident, or did you feel that
gross?
He's just keeping the seat warm for Gibbs to take over?
I've never liked Montgomery. He just never.
When he was in Chicago, he was a monster.
He just never if something about him just struck me as
love Montgomery, man. I would. That's another thing. That's what I meant to say on the last podcast, but I'm saying it here on the appropriate one. Is another thing about football and fantasy. You get to calling grown men babies. You be like, "Go, baby."
You say some sketchy stuff in that moment. You're absolutely right.
You almost have to stop yourself, like, hey, man, I'm a grown man. What the fuck am I calling another man baby for? Because you get so fucking hyped and the adrenaline pumps. Man, if I got Montgomery on one of my teams, I wasn't starting him, but when he scored, I was like, yeah, baby, Montgomery, baby. Calling him baby. Like, I'm calling him man baby. That's how much of an impact fantasy has.
That's that passion, though. Like, look, we're also stupid humans that will literally go buy a piece of fabric with their name on the back of it. So let's be honest, we're not really the most, intelligent of creatures. So I get it. But so to answer the first one, Gibbs, it looked good. I mean, I know the turf monster got him on that one play, but he looked like he had the juice.
Explosive. He looks very explosive.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be one of those things where it's going to be real similar to a lot of other teams where they have a 1A and 1B, and here's the Thunder, here's the Lightning.
Thunder and Lightning. It's that's the new trend. It's like you got to have a thumper, and then you got to have that scat motherfucker that can get it.
But you know what, though? We kind of look, not like flexing, but I think Steelers kind of coined that with Bettis and Zaraway.
No,
we were kind of the OGs on that a little bit, right?
I think the Steelers was probably the first people, but they didn't get the credit for it. The first people that got the credit for it was the Tennessee Titans when they had Chris Johnson and what was the other dude's name? Running back from USC.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Oh, they used to call them Thunder and Lightning. I think they kind of made it real famous. It was Chris Johnson, the fastback, and then it was something Lamar Floyd Leonard Floyd.
Leonard. You know Leonard Blunt? No, not Leonard Blunt.
No. What was his name? He was a USC back. He was kind of slow, but he was a thumper. So he was the heavy back, and then you handed it to Chris Johnson, and he was the burner.
Who was Derrick Henry behind?
Derrick Henry was never behind anyone.
He was behind somebody.
Not since he came into the league. He came from Alabama. He was a running back from Alabama, and that motherfucker started since day one.
Maybe I'm thinking about the same person that you're thinking of. I just can't think of the name.
His name was Leonard something. Leonard. Oh, fuck. It's going to kill me. You got to look that up, man. Or I'm going to look it up. Hold on.
Yeah, because I can't. Man. Because I don't know who I'm thinking about. But. Oh, he left. Oh, this goofball. To go ahead and do some research. Who is that man's name?
Lindell White. Lindell White and Chris Johnson. Lindell White was from USC. And they, like I said, like you said, Bettis and Zaraway was the original Thunder and Lightning. And then when Bettis got hurt, it was Fumatu Malafala.
God bless you.
and Zaraway. So it was Thunder and Lightning. But the two backs that made it famous, that everybody coined it after, was Lindell White and Chris Johnson from the Tennessee Titans. It was so what the game plan is pretty much run your bruiser out there to soften up the defense. run the fuck out of them in the first, second quarter, and then stick your little scat back in there hit every once in a while. And then when the third and fourth quarter rolls around and your linebackers is tired and your D-line is tired, now it's time to play chase. So it's almost like, can you imagine a person that's fighting and y'all going blow to blow, toe to toe, and then all of a sudden, as you get tired, you got a motherfucker that just steps in and just starts hitting you from the side, like boom, boom, and you can't find him, and you're so fucking lethargic at that point that it's hard to keep up. And that was the game plan, Thunder and Lightning, like soften them up with the fucking heavy dude, and then make them chase you with the fast scat back. And a lot of teams are doing that now. I mean, everybody wants a complement of Thunder and Lightning. Even the modern day Steelers have a Thunder and Lightning. They have Najee and they got Jaylen Warren. So, I mean, everybody wants it. So, when we was just talking about Detroit, you got David Montgomery, who's your fucking bruiser, and then you got Jahmyr Gibbs, who is your now chase me. Now Jahmyr Gibbs, like he has a little bit more thickness to him, so he looked like he could be a perfect complement to have both.
Yeah, I mean, but once again, as we said, we have questions to be answered. There hasn't really been much answered yet with the one game. So, I know people will overreact and maybe start kind of putting Gibbs on a pedestal, like he's going to be the next. I'm like, I think he's going to be a star, but
yeah, like what's the biggest overreaction you think to that game that the rest of America, like not totally independent of your team? I'm talking about, what do you think people seen or found out in that game and they went out and overreacted to? Because I want to make that as a segment too.
Okay.
Every week, we're going to pick out what you think is the biggest overreaction, pump your fucking brakes moment. Like, I mean, calm the fuck down. Because people get enamored by 1 week wonders.
There's literally only one option. It's Josh Reynolds.
Okay, yeah.
Like I can't.
Somebody came out of that game they probably got a great fantasy team, and they dropped somebody great to go pick up Josh Reynolds.
Right. So,
and that's not going to happen every week. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of those, like, is he the second receiver on the team?
I think so.
I mean, Amon is, that and maybe that tight end.
That Laporta. That dude impressed me. I never even heard of the dude. And when people was drafting him in my other drafts, I was like, who is this dude that these people keep drafting? Now I found out he got a significant amount of targets. He really did.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also one of those things where
I don't want to overreact to it. Like, I didn't go pick him up. I didn't go pick him up in any of my leagues, but I did take notice.
It's one of those things where, do we know? I mean, what's Detroit's game plan going to look like on a regular basis? Were they throwing more because they're like, okay, we're playing against?
Well, Detroit's defense didn't impress me, so it looks like they're going to be behind a lot in a lot of games, and they're going to be throwing a lot.
Maybe. I mean, they also could be a team that slows down the game. So it's one of those things where it, could be like a 14-10 kind of, situation, a 17-14 kind of thing where
the only thing I've seen on their defense that was significant, they got that pass rusher, that white boy out at from Michigan, Aiden Hutchinson or whatever. Yeah. That motherfucker was unblockable. Like every play, he was almost at the corner at Mahomes' face. He was at his neck every fucking play. I was
he was fun to watch last year on Hard Knocks.
So, Detroit was on Hard Knocks last year?
Yeah, Detroit was, yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I don't like, as much as I love football, I've sat down and watched several Hard Knocks, but I've never watched one season all the way through. Like, I've never watched a whole team go all the way through. I don't know. I just didn't keep up with it. It seemed like they just like kind of over dramatized stuff. And I'd be like, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's hard, and it's weird because with fantasy, you watch Hard Knocks, you may start making some mistakes. You're like, yo, look, This fourth wide receiver,
like story and how they got there, and you probably put a little bit too much confidence in their off the field issues, whereas opposed to you're supposed to be basing all your judgment on what's on tape.
Right.
So,
and once again, I mean, the whole question and answer thing. I know we keep going back to that, but that's such a ridiculously important part of it. Nothing really got answered on Thursday. You're not going to get the answers. You have the formation of a question and answer, sort of, but you can't base anything off of it. So, it's just so important to kind of stick with your draft right now. Don't really. Don't
try to out-scheme yourself. Don't get too cute and sexy the first week. Like you just don't know what's happening. So wherever you drafted your person, I'm pretty sure you drafted them in the spot you drafted them for a fucking reason. So stick to that for right now.
That's why your team gets automatically, put together. Like your lineup gets automatically put together based on how you drafted. So it does that for a reason, because generally speaking, you're not touching that unless somebody gets hurt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think at this point, anyone that you're picking up is just going to go on your bench, so there's not going to be a lot of moves other than, oh shit, Cooper Kupp got hurt. What do we do? Put him on your IR spot, maybe grab some depth because you have a free roster spot now. So then you can just sit on somebody.
Put it this way, at this point in the season, you shouldn't be running to that waiver wire to plug anybody into your lineup. Your lineup should already be set, except for, Isaiah, like you said, you found out a starter is not playing, and you would have to change your depth chart.
I mean, because at that point, you don't have if you're not rostering two tight ends. I mean, if you're not rostering two tight ends, you literally need to roster a roster. So you need to get somebody in there. So, I mean, and I already saw, I mean, I'm not trying to put him out there, but I saw Kemp burnt his priority already.
Yeah. Why would you burn a waiver the first week? All you got to do is wait until they cleared and pick them up.
And I can't remember who did he pick up? Let me see.
Let's see. My thing is, why? Whoever's out there on that waiver wire, obviously they didn't get drafted. Nobody wants them. Did you think somebody was trying hard as hell to pick this person up and you're going to fucking snag them before he do? They didn't even get drafted. So why would you burn a waiver position on it?
Yeah, he picked up Chase Claypool for Michael Wilson, who the fuck are you in Arizona, and he went and he went and got Irv Smith for Jake Ferguson. So I definitely a little early. I don't have any problem with
who he picked up, but I have a problem with him burning a waiver position to do it.
Yeah, because I mean, if you went undrafted, there's nobody clamoring after that.
How many times in how many leagues I honestly don't think some people don't understand the waiver game. There's a whole game behind the waiver process in itself. And I think a lot of people don't understand it. They do not.
No.
My boy from Philly, he would waiver every week. And I would be like, hey man, you do realize you could have picked that person up after waivers cleared. Nobody wanted that person, but he would burn his waiver and he would pick multiple people on the waiver. So he's putting himself at the back of the line 3-4 times. I'm like, what are you doing?
There's definitely some gamesmanship behind that where, you can put yourself in a really, really good position by holding off. That's that overreacting to news.
You knew my scheme. My scheme was to wait because they make you wait till 3 a.m. because the people in California, you can't do it at 12 midnight. The people in California, it has to be 12 midnight for them. So here on the East Coast, it's 3 a.m. And my game was to wait till 3 a.m.
Okay, hold on. Excuse me. Our game. Get that correct.
Motherfucker, you got it from me. I was the first motherfucker to be up at 3 a.m. You'd be like, oh, you out here shopping? every week, it felt like I was going into the mall. I would be 3 a.m. and I go into the mall and I'm shopping like, and I'm looking at clothes. You know, you look at stuff on the rack and you're like, okay, let me see if I grab that.
It's 3 a.m. I'm sending Jermaine a fucking you up thing like I'm trying to get a booty call and shit. You up?
Like, I remember, I don't know how long it took you to notice, but you finally noticed and start texting me like, look at you at 3 a.m.
Fancy meeting you here, motherfucker. How are you?
We both would be in the mall at 3 a.m. shopping. Yep. For real. Like, I would wait till that waiver was over.
Yep.
And see who didn't.
Because you don't want to burn that when you don't need
to. I want
to
save it. I want to save it for when that major running back goes down and the next man up is everybody in the country's priority. I want to be that dude that has that luxury to grab that dude.
Yeah. And that's the game inside the game. And just once again, knowing your league. I know this is turning into like a tip show here, but that's important too, knowing how your league operates and knowing how the people operate. If you have people that are just gonna burn through it, then okay, cool, let them do it. That's on them. They're generally speaking always going to be behind you. So, you know, you then, as you said, wait on that one, like, oh shit, here we go. I
want to be that guy. Well, even though, you know, over the years he's been handcuffed and he's been drafted off a handcuff only. He's now starting back in Madison. But I want to be that guy.
Yes.
When Dalvin Cook goes down, when they look at the priority, who has the number one waiver pick? I want to be that dude to be able to grab Alexander Madison.
Yep. That was the exact person I was thinking about. Exact person. Yep. That was always the play because motherfucker was always hurt and no one would ever draft Madison. He was always sitting there. And no one ever had the sense to like just, okay, draft is over. Or my last pick is Johnny, who the fuck knows. Let me just grab Madison instead and just fucking sit him there because instead of me having to burn a priority.
I mean, your injury prone backs, you gotta have the handcuff. That's why, and damn near every one of I'm in 4 leagues. And almost every one of them, I got, what's his name? The thing going backup running back for San Francisco because CMC likes to get hurt.
Mitchell, yeah.
Elijah Mitchell. I got him in every league because I am prepared for
the problem with him is Mitchell is really he really gets his dick hard about getting hurt too. So he's kind of into that same kind of weird.
Hurt a lot too, yeah. But like I said, I got him locked and loaded. And if CMC goes down, I am in business.
Yep.
Ready to roll.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think those are going to be kind of cool segments, kind of coming each of us 3 different questions that we have on our league or kind of decisions we had to make and what kind of went into that. And then, you know,
what's the biggest overreaction to you over the week that people
I think the overreaction, I think that may work on the Tuesday show. Because then we'll actually
it's recapping like what happened and
the whole week.
Like watch these motherfuckers go out and burn their waivers on.
Because that is waiver day, so really that's perfectly placed. It's like, don't be that guy. or if you're in my league, be that guy. Go ahead.
Yeah. Help me.
Right, like help me beat you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but tomorrow's kind of the holy grail. And like I said, we're really basically just running out who we drafted. We already went over who we drafted. We're not going to rehash that just for content. That's stupid. But none of my team got affected by any of the injuries other than Mark Andrews, which I kind of knew something was going to.
Goff already played. For me, Mahomes already played. In one of my other leagues, I had St. Brown, who, like I said, was just as good as Mahomes, and he's a receiver. Other than that, I had, like I said, Montgomery on the bench, but I didn't start him. I had Kadarius Toney on the bench, this fucking piece of shit. I dropped him before the fucking game was even over. It was third quarter, and he made one more mistake. I was like, I scrapped his ass mid-game. Like, you
love it.
Oh man,
What did you fucking draft him for, Goofy? Good God.
Oh man, he pissed me off because he pissed me off not only from a Chiefs standpoint, he pissed me off because you fucking up Mahomes. Like I need Mahomes to get the points. And on top of that, you took 6 points from me by dropping a pass that went for a pick six. You piece of shit. Oh man.
Did you hear he actually deleted his Twitter after the game?
Because he knew people was gonna fire in on his stupid ass.
Yep.
And he had a nerve to be with a fucking grill on the field. He had a whole fucking set of grilled teeth. I bet you took them bitches out too. You ain't shining shit.
You know, I was actually surprised that Andy Reid wasn't like, yeah, you're not on the team anymore. We're just going to fucking get rid of you. Because he does not seem like a person that will deal with any ineptitude. It's like
stupid shit like that.
Yeah, like you're gone, man. Like you're not worth, you know, we'll go with Justin Watson, keep it the fuck moving or whatever. No, you know, just gross.
But that Riche Rice, I mean, I'm not overreacting, but he looked like he has some potential, but we once again, only one game. I'm not
right, and that's without Kelce. So who knows what he looks like with Kelce?
True.
Like he could be the next.
But I'm saying, who's the Chiefs' number one wide receiver? They'd have none. Before it's been Tyreek Hill and Kelce. Now it's just Kelce and a bunch of fucking band members.
Like, yeah, but here's the thing with Kelce. It doesn't matter. He is just bigger and stronger than everybody else. So it's just like he will get covered and the whole team knows it's going to Kelce. The defenders know it goes to Kelce, but you know what happens? Kelce still fucking happens.
The whole team knows it.
It just doesn't matter.
Know it. The defense knows it, and they just still can't stop it. That's just
right. But that does provide the point of why didn't they go out and spend on some other weapons? But I really honestly think it's a complete money. It's a money pit. There's something terrible there.
I mean, I think they signed Mahomes to like a large contract like 2 or 3 years ago. So yeah, a lot of their money's wrapped up.
Which I never understood.
Same thing is going to happen with the Bengals. You know that Joe Burrow just got paid, and T. Higgins is his last year. They're not going to pay him. They're going to pay Jamar Chase. They're not going to pay him.
But it's such a dumb thing to do. Like, you think as a franchise, it's like, okay, as a quarterback, yeah, you want to get paid, yada, yada, yada. But you don't need that exorbitant amount of money. Let's be
55 million. He doesn't need $55 million a year to play. No. That's crazy.
You don't. But
I would have pushed back. I'd have been like, okay, give me 50. Take that other $5 million a year you was going to give me and lock up one of my fucking weapons.
Right. That's the thing I never understood. These quarterbacks want all this money. It's like, you understand you're handcuffing yourself. Like, but I think some of these people are just so selfish and so stupid that they're just like, I'm just going to take care of me. It's like, okay, cool. But you know what?
I mean, to use a similar analogy, that's like, okay, I'm a track star. And they come to me and they tell me these motherfucking certain type of shoes is going to make me run faster, harder. I'm going to get more traction. And I say, no, I'm going to save my money. Even though these shoes might cost an inordinate amount of money, I got to give up some money to get a better performance. So if I know these track shoes is going to make me run faster, harder, and make me perform better, why wouldn't I invest in these shoes? The same thing with, okay, you got to give up some money to get you a receiver to throw that you can throw to and make you look better. But you got to give up this money. And they're like, no, give me all the money. Like, it's going to, like you said, you're hindering yourself by being greedy. Like,
here's the question. All right, here's the question. Okay. Can Chase be Kelce in the same kind of situation? Meaning, like, there's no one else around Kelce, but Kelce is absolutely still going to do his thing.
I think Jamar Chase, I'm not taking anything away from his game, but I think Jamar Chase thrives for the simple fact that there are other weapons out there that Burrow can go to.
That was my point. So no.
Can he thrive in an offense where he is the focal point? Probably not. I don't know.
think so. I don't think so, and it's not because he's a bad player or anything like that.
But there are certain receivers that can do that, though. Like Devontae Adams, it doesn't matter where the fuck he goes, and if he's triple covered, he's gonna get the fucking ball. Same thing with DeAndre Hopkins.
I was gonna say even right? I mean, that's played on the Texans. Dwindling.
This dude was productive on the Texans.
Well, that's also when he had Watson, though. Let's be honest, that was a sick connection, but. Yeah, I mean,
the jury's still out on Watson. Has Watson done anything since he left Houston?
I mean, touched some bitches he shouldn't have touched.
Yeah.
But other than that,
he let bitches fucking put their finger in his asshole. That's about it.
Good job, Cleveland, you fucking idiots. Just proving again why you guys are the pirates of the NFL.
The pirates of the NFL.
Fucking your greatest import is sadness. Let's be honest.
I mean, there are certain players there. It doesn't matter who's around them. They are fucking special.
And I just don't
know about Chase yet. I don't.
Yeah. I think you made my exact point. Higgins makes Chase better because
you can't double and triple him all the time because this other dude over here is going to eat you the fuck alive. And you got Tyler Boyd. Like, I mean, and you can dump it off to Mixon out the backfield. They all complement each other.
Yeah.
So if I'm a quarterback and I know I have that arsenal of weapons, I want to keep that around me. Don't take away.
Think about this. 55 million. You could literally take 30 fucking million. You now have 25 million fucking dollars. You could get
per year.
You could get 2 elite wideouts for 12 and 12.
That's gonna make you look better and cash in again.
Much better. Like, just imagine like what that team like. You have let's just say you get Chase. Okay, you get Chase. You get Higgins. Let's say for 12 mil. Let's say you can get a D Hop for a year.
Yeah.
All right. And then let's say I don't know who else would be kind of worth like. Let's just say like a Waddle, right? You got Waddle. You have Waddle. You have Hop. You have Higgins, and you have Chase and Mixon in the backfield because you said no. Allocate that 20.
If one of them get hurt or one of them ain't feeling too good, you could just say, "Go ahead, heal up, buddy," because we got other weapons.
Hey, Tyler Boyd, go do something. Go run that 9 route and call it. You know what I mean? But like, you think about allocating the 25 million like that. It's just the greed and the stupidity of the teams. It is.
Well, I mean, this is the player standpoint. The player standpoint is the Cincinnati Bengals organization. They got money. They're gonna find out how. They're gonna find a way to make it work. And I'm gonna take as much as I can from that organization, which is not a bad idea. But at the same time, if you look at this, is not looking at it from the big picture. That's the small picture. Your small picture is fuck Cincinnati. They charge fucking $20 a beer in the stadium. These motherfuckers better pay me, and I want a piece of that because I'm filling up the motherfucking seats. But when you look and you step back and look at the big picture, I need help to look good. And a lot of players that goes right past them.
Yeah, but you know what? I just made $55 million to throw a ball 500 times this year. I'm all fucking set. It's a violent game. I get it. One injury can take you out, but you mean to tell me you can't live the rest of your fucking years with $30 million?
Joe Burrow's fucking message probably to the Cincinnati is, go find me another T. Higgins for cheap. You know, I don't care if y'all don't pay him. That's on y'all. Go find me another one I can throw to that's on a rookie contract that I can get for cheap. So I guess you gotta.
I get both sides of the business.
I can't call him greedy. I mean, I just want him to just think about it. Like, T. Higgins is an established receiver. He's a great number 2. He's a number 1 receiver that happens to be on a team that has.
He could be a number 1 on a few teams. Absolutely.
Yes, but they're not going to be able to pay him because they just dumped. The dump truck backed up, boop, 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 and it dumped all the money into Joe Burrow's fucking sack.
Yep. And that's
their window to win the Super Bowl is now. Just last year,
that's what they're
they
doing.
went to the championship game. The year before that, they were in the Super Bowl. They lost both of them, and this is your last year because them without T. Higgins, unless another T. Higgins emerge, I don't see it. They're not going to be as competitive. They're going to this is how it's a decline. It just now it went from them going to the Super Bowl.
How much money has Ohio dedicated to their quarterbacks this year? Think about that.
Oh yeah, fucking Cleveland. They paying.
Think about that.
They're paying Deshaun Watson all this goddamn money, and he ain't did a damn thing.
Good job, Ohio. You fucking retards.
$300 million in quarterbacks, but it's a decline. Look at it. They was at the Super Bowl. Now they backpedaled into the AFC champion. Now they're going to backpedal in the second round of the playoffs. And then the very next year, they're going to be in the wild card. And then the year after that, they might not even get in. Yeah. And it's right back to Cincinnati.
Yep. Which makes me happy. Just because it's like.
I mean, as a Steelers fan, it does. we hate to hate, but we hating. Fuck
yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like Ohio, this just is a very Ohio move. Good job. I just don't see the forest for the trees. It's fine. It's good.
One of your staples. It's fine.
Right. I mean, and it's the thing. Like, none of the people that go to the stadium can actually afford to go to the stadium. I don't know how they're funding anything in Cleveland. Jesus, tap dancing Christ, that place is a shithole. So, I mean, it can't even afford colors for their fucking jerseys. So there's that. But yeah, I've just never understood that. Me and you were in the same camp of the whole build your team around your quarterback. Don't build your quarterback and then hope that you have enough money left over for your team.
Don't build your quarterback and then just assemble a team. Like, it's like you got to give him weapons to thrive, man.
It's like going to dinner and buying like this really elegant, big dinner, but not have enough money left to get a drink.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Like you've now, you're super full, but you're parched as a motherfucker.
You better get the juices out of that steak to wash that shit down, because you ain't drinking fucking shit.
So, like, we got some free water, and your free water is Tyler Boyd. So there you go.
Yeah, but yeah, man, a lot of questions.
Yeah.
A lot of answers that's gonna come tomorrow, man.
Well, we have starting to the answers. We have a few words of the answer.
This is Christmas Eve. I can't wait to play with my toys tomorrow. It's like right now, my toys is under the tree and I can see them. I know what I got, but I can't play with them yet. And it's like tomorrow I get to bust them bitches out that plastic, and I'm gonna play.
Do you have anybody that you're kind of waiting for news on?
Really like the biggest question mark? Or
like, do you have any like on your in this team? Anyone right now that you're kind of waiting for news on, that you're kind of like, injury designation?
I'm a little skeptical of what's going on with Javonte Williams out in Denver.
Oof. Yeah.
I'm waiting as far as waiver wire injury wise. The motherfucker that got me on edge is Jerry Jeudy. I don't know if he's playing or not. So that's like as soon as I wake up, that's like the first thing I'm looking for to see what's going to happen with Jerry Jeudy. Is he going to play? Because I'm going to pivot. I got Romeo Doubs. I'm going to start him, but I got on the bench. I got Darnell Mooney, who I'm not really wildly excited to play, but if Jerry Jeudy somehow is ruled out, I have to play Darnell Mooney. I have no choice. So
gross.
That's the juxtaposed position I'm going to be in tomorrow. As far as this league, everybody else is kind of cemented in. I was going back and forth with Taysom Hill, but I'm starting them. I don't give a fuck if Yahoo projects him for 4 points. I don't give a fuck. Fucking Taysom Hill gets near that goal line and Kamara ain't there. They're gonna put him in. So
so fucking annoying.
Taysom Hill was a champion for me last year, yo. I loved it.
Oh God, it gives me a headache.
Damn,
I'm curious to see how that works out with Carr. If they're kind of like, hey, chill the fuck out. Because I don't know if that does the same thing that I don't know, man. That's
like, I mean, do you think the quarterbacks that he come in for, do you think that they get mad and tell the coaches like, can I throw a touchdown? Goddamn, why are you bringing in these gadget fucking plays?
I think here's the thing. You're allowing that to happen. If you're not doing your thing,
if you're not fucking deadly and striking them bitches, motherfucker. But he was coming in even with Drew Brees was lighting it up though. But he wasn't coming in as much.
Right. Like you didn't like the Philly special is not a super common play. The reason that kind of worked out is because Nick Foles was fucking Nick Foles. So
he said the Philly special ain't no regular on there and shit.
Like, but I get it. Like he got because they really like last year in the beginning of last year, there's a lot of reports were like, hey, look, and they gave him the bag too, which is nuts. They're like, we're gonna work you out a quarterback and we're gonna play this and do that. He's like, can I be the kicker too? Like it was like it was weird. They just like they really needed him. I think now that they got, and I'm not saying Derek Carr is any stretch of like a fantasy champ. It's like
but I mean
Derek fucking Carr. He's like middle
Derek Carr on the same level as fucking Andy Dalton or fucking James Winston. No. So I definitely deem Derek Carr an upgrade over those two. So.
Yeah, I mean, but that's also the watermark on that is not fucking great. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely middle of the pack. Like he's not gonna lose you a week. Just don't expect him to win you the week either. He's just gonna give you a good baseline. This is what I'm gonna get. I'm cool with that. Like it's just he may do some.
Derek Carr was a step above as a manager. A game manager to me is like somebody that just really that you don't want to make any mistakes, make a throw here and there, some Jimmy Garoppolo shit. You know, and that's what cracked me up about the Raiders. They ran Derek Carr out of town, who's a manager, to get another manager.
I think Derek Carr wanted out of town, to be fully honest. I think that was more like
because they benched him in the last two games. I'm like, why did y'all bench him in the last two games? I didn't understand that. I didn't get it. They had fucking the backup from New England, Stoichen.
Fucking whatever. Yeah,
Stoichen or some shit. They had him. I was like, Jarrett Stidham.
There it is. Okay.
I'm like, what the fuck is you starting him for?
Well, clearly there's some bullshit up in Oakland. They didn't want to pay Carr. They want to keep him. They don't want to pay. They didn't want to pay. Josh. So it's like there's some shit out there. I feel like things are.
You lead the league in rushing. And I understand where these running backs is coming from with the bucking, like, I mean, your Jonathan Taylors and, you lead Josh Jacobs. You lead the league in rushing. Couple games you walked off with your run to win the game. And you turn around and you get shitted on. Like, you can't pay me? Like, I don't understand
that. I think that ends up falling back on the owner.
Don't get me wrong, they're not as valuable as they used to be because you can always – I think running back is one of the positions where you can find another one. I mean, they do run hard, but when you're a premier back, I'm talking like a top 5 back, Jonathan Taylor, and you're going to turn around and hawker on his contract.
Well, shit. Look at Eckler. They weren't trying to fucking. They were playing with his emotions
so much for his team. Like he catches and he fucking runs. Like, and you're going to sit there and say, I'm a hawker on your contract? Like, wow.
Yeah, that's a good point, though. It's a weird year with running backs and contracts. It's like, what are you guys doing?
They don't mean shit to these organizations. They really don't.
Because
there's always a Jaylen Warren sitting behind a Najee Harris that can fucking emerge, I guess.
I mean, I guess rolling the dice, cool, but sometimes you end up with an Amos Zaraway. So
true. I guess you got to look at somebody like Derrick Henry. Like Tennessee knows he is the fucking engine in their fucking car, and they compensate him as such. Like, who is Tennessee without Derrick Henry?
The Houston Oilers. Warren Moon's fucking ghost.
To reference the other episode people didn't watch, X's and O's. Derek, the Tennessee Titans are tomato soup without the grilled cheese.
Mm.
Derrick Henry is the grilled cheese, and they are tomato soup.
Like they really are nobody. Like
nothing.
Where the fuck is their money going? Seriously, like
they just signed D-Hop. They took him off the market. That's about it. But other than that,
fuck is their money?
I think they put a lot of money. They put a lot of money in their defensive line. I think.
I can't name 5 Titans.
I know. They put a lot of money in the secondary. What's his name? Not Demir Bird. What the fuck is his name? Secondary. He's a safety.
I enjoy this. Is proving my point.
I can't remember his name.
For real, I can name Tanny, Henry, and Hop, and only reason I can do Hop, 3 is because Hop got signed.
I know Traylon Burks.
Okay, Burks and the fucking Chig guy. Okay, that's 5. There you go. Don't worry, I'll wait.
The damn safety, I can't remember his name. He got paid. Dion said that he didn't deserve to get paid, and then he was talking shit on Dion in the damn media and on Twitter. Oh, what was his name? Not Bird. I can't remember his name, man.
But point still stands. It's like some of these teams are just, you say the name and the immediate person you think of is usually like, oh yeah, okay. But sometimes that ends up being the only, okay, they have.
And that's what cracks me up. Like, I mean, the Colts, outside of Jonathan Taylor, it's like, okay, you got Pittman.
Do we?
You got Pittman, you got the dude, Darius Leonard or Shaquille Leonard, whatever the fuck you want to be called nowadays, on the defense. These are your cornerstone players. And you're going to choose to not pay the engine that fucking runs your car? Like, what? I don't understand that.
I mean, I get maybe the injury part of it, but it's like you're a running back, dude. This is what the fuck happens. Yeah. You are much smaller than the larger men that are going.
You're thinking to yourself, if Jonathan Taylor didn't get hurt a lot, they would pay him. He would have a legitimate.
I would feel 50% more confident, yeah. Other than just a regular running back.
See, that's the one thing I do respect about Derrick Henry, and I do love about Derrick Henry, and I love drafting him in fantasy.
Because he's too big to get hurt.
Never gets hurt. He got hurt a little bit last year, but before that, I never seen him get hurt.
He is too big to get hurt.
This dude invented the slam you down, choke fucking stiff arm. I mean,
he is 87% of him is made of Tylenol.
Dude is an amazing
guy. After the games, he doesn't ice his body. Fucking ice uses Derrick Henry on itself. I don't know. Fucking Chuck Norris jokes and shit.
You said ice is like, man, I need him.
I need the Derrick Henry. Like, yeah, he is just stupid. He is just a ball of hate and hair.
Yep, he got that big old fat little
shit muffin on his fucking head. The thing is gross.
That day go one of those rolls, like those rolls with the cream in them and shit. He got one of them coming out the back of his helmet.
Motherfucker got an eclair on his head looking like Motaro. Yeah. Fuck out of here.
Unbelievable.
Shit braid.
I can't wait, man. I am so fucking excited for tomorrow, man. It can't get here fast enough. It really can't. Yeah.
You're gonna go to bed with little Scott Hansen's kind of jumping over fucking
like bird mobile and shit. 7 hours of commercial-free football starts now.
Did you? And I actually thought about doing this, but I didn't want to drop the money. There, like, you know what Cameo is?
Who?
You know what Cameo is?
The group?
No, man. So it's kind of a program where celebrities, you pay them usually an exorbitant fee to kind of literally make a cameo on whatever you want them to do. And they come in, they do kind of a conversation, do whatever. And Scott Hansen does that. And it was like $180 or something for him to like show up during your draft. And I almost did it. But
that would, if he would have, man, I would have jumped. Man, my head would have hit the ceiling.
I know. And I really wanted to do it, but I really didn't want to drop $180 for it.
Scott Hansen dropped in on the draft. My head would have hit the fucking ceiling. I'm a short dude.
I thought about it just for you. I was like, man, you would love this shit. But I'm like, I don't want to drop that money because But yeah.
But 7 hours. I mean, it's just that this is my pregame ritual. For those of you who don't know.
Okay.
I know we're running over. But the weeks that I'm not watching the Steelers game, the red zone, they got the ticker that counts down, I think, like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
When I start hearing that music and I see them damn that number and it gets to 1 second, you can ask my ex, you can ask my kids, I fucking lose my shit when them damn numbers count down. I go crazy. I start clapping. I'm talking about clapping so hard that my hands are sore afterwards. I be so motherfucking hype when I just hear do-noom, 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 and they change the numbers. Fucking Scott Hansen, they showed a little graphic and shit, the little animation. Next thing you know, Scott Hansen shows up. I fucking lose my shit, yo. It's no more exciting moment in my life at that point.
How beautiful is that? Just from the human side of it, it's like, that's so cool, man. Like something that's probably completely so minuscule on people's radars.
The station don't even realize, but as soon as I see that tick go down to 0 and they'll hear I fucking scream like a fucking gorilla and fucking I go crazy, man. And I clap. I'll fucking do circles and walk around the fucking living room a couple times, and I fucking say, let's go, and I snap the fuck out. And I wait on that shit to fucking play, yo. It's like
there's Christmas.
It's your grown man Christmas. There's definitely things that other people enjoy or they're highs in their life. That is one of them for me. Yeah. It really is. It really is.
It's just a beautiful thing. Like it's so cool to see things like that make people happy. And it means nothing to the NFL Network. They don't care, but it's kind of cool. It's just like,
hey. It is impactful for me. And like I said, and it's not just the opening Sunday. I'm talking about every Sunday. Yeah. When I see them tick that shit strike 0 and motherfucking the damn graphic change.
You are literally you literally have 1 to about 7:30 and then 8:15, 8:20 rolls around. You got Chris Collinsworth saying, hey, I'm going to say some douchey shit in a deep voice and then do interviews with my weird ass looking kid.
The NFL Network highlights with Chris Rose or MJD or something like that. And then that is like my complete Sunday. And I'm in love with that shit. I really am. Every year.
It's a shame it's only about 5 or 4 months and some change, but
yeah.
It also makes you look forward to it. But so I guess
one other thing about fantasy, fantasy is almost so impactful nowadays that when the real playoffs around the NFL playoffs come around,
I don't care. Unless the Steelers are in, I'm not fucking watching. I don't give a shit.
It doesn't mean anything.
I don't give a shit.
I'm crazy. Like fantasy has turned it to the like I used to watch these playoffs games like they were just so impactful. Now, when you don't have no skin in the game, you can care less what the fuck is happening.
When was the last time Steelers were in the playoffs?
I think they played Cleveland and got blown the fuck out. Yeah, here. Yeah, we played Cleveland and Baker Mayfield and them beat us.
That was the last playoff game I watched.
They don't mean shit.
Because I just don't care. You're right. If they don't have skin in it, I don't give a shit.
Once the fantasy season has closed, I don't care about the real shit that's really going on. Like, I want to know who did what.
Yeah, like I'll take a gander, but I'm not going to sit down and watch it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like
that's crazy. Fantasy has impacted us that much where, like, I remember a playoff game used to be everything. Now it's like,
I mean, realistically, even before
the wild card weekend, I'll miss every one of those games and don't give a fuck. Watch the highlights. Like, I don't care.
No, even before fantasy, I was like, oh, they're not in it. I'm gonna go fucking take a nap then. That's all I'm saying. Because it has no bearing on my NFL life at that point. Like, I'm intrigued
if the Steelers ain't in it, I mean, and we do that with any sport. Like, if the Penguins ain't in it at the end of the season, are you watching any hockey?
I'm gonna watch fucking the Kings against the fucking Knights. Suck my cock. Fucking stupid. I don't give a shit.
And the Pirates ain't been in it for fucking ever, so we don't even have to answer that question.
Yeah, that's a silly thing.
So, I mean, like, if the Steelers ain't in it, I have no interest in the postseason.
And there's going to be people, and I know this. There are going to be people that are going to claim that we aren't real fans because of that. And those people can lick my fucking taint.
I'm a fan. I'm a diehard. I mean,
well, no, there are going to be people out there that are going to say that we're not really NFL
not real NFL fans
because we're not watching the playoffs, and those people can lick my dirty taint.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Yeah,
like, it's just one of those things.
You can lick the inside of my belly button, motherfucker.
Ooh, threaten me with a good time. But it's one of those things where I just can't. I don't like. And the funny thing is, because realistically, you probably should follow that as a fantasy player to kind of see. But playoffs are just. I just don't fucking care. I just don't care. Like, what information am I going to get from those extra 2-3 games that I couldn't get from the previous 17?
Because they are the only games that are played that week, the media covers them pretty much.
Right, you're almost sick of it. You're almost sick of hearing it.
SportsCenter is going to play it all week because there's no other fucking play to play. Like, there's no other games to even preview. So you can get all you need off of SportsCenter. You can get all you need off the NFL Network. You're going to catch every play that you missed during that wild card weekend.
I wonder if it's because it's so oversaturated that you're just like, I don't fucking want to hear about it anymore. I'm all set. I don't care. Like, it dries the interest up from you because you're just like, I know everything, every angle.
Now, as far as, like you said, you don't watch it all. Like, I watch the championship games. Like, I try to make sure I spend some time to try to watch the championship games. But when they fall on like Saturdays and shit like that, like, now I work for a job where I don't got to work Saturday, but in years past, I always had to work Saturday. So I didn't, like, I would take the game and then I would come home and hit delete because, like I said, it was so saturated and it was so covered well that I didn't need to watch the game. You covered everything for me, you know.
Right.
But I did make it a point to try to watch the championship game, you know.
Yeah. I just can't get into it.
Because that's the game. Like, that game, sometimes the championship game is sometimes better than the Super Bowl because just getting there, them players are super fucking hungry and for a good game.
Yeah. Interesting. Kind of ended that on a whole weird little place that I didn't know we were going to be.
I didn't see that coming either. But I mean, it just brought it. It was just like, I just thought about it because when the fantasy season's over, that's when the real tear drops for me. It's over. Like,
yeah, you're at that
after,
point. You're
you know,
like,
and I'm responsible for Andrew's league as far as the payout goes. So after I pay everybody and the shit is over, I can care less what happens after that. It's closed shop.
a part of you is gone. It's like, well, shit.
Yeah.
I don't
have
have
shit to care about anymore.
like at that
Like,
point. Let's say you're like your team. Let's say you didn't win the chip, and your home team is out. Fuck football. Burn the place down. I don't give a shit.
And remember, I told you, I'm so desperate to keep playing fantasy that even if I'm not in the playoffs, I'm riding the consolation. I'm fucking starting people because I enjoy the process.
Right.
I really do.
And I do the same. I don't just let it sit. I'm like, yeah, I know this makes no difference.
Like I know I can't pick up players, but I'm gonna start the people that I would go along the same process. Like I'm looking at the injury report.
Because why not? Because why not? Like it's if you were meant to completely disregard it, they wouldn't let you do it. You know, I don't know. I'm about that.
Still be involved. You don't want to get your season cut off, so they allow you to battle against the motherfuckers from 7 down to 12. Yeah. They allow you to battle with them.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same way with it.
It's just the competitive nature that I just have when it comes to this. When it comes to this particular sport and this particular, platform as far as fantasy football goes. I am as competitive as it comes.
Yeah, that's kind of why we're so passionate. We take it so hard.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this.
I ain't know we were running over a fucking hour.
Well, on both podcasts, we're like, oh, it won't be that long. Okay. we start. Mind you, we started this process at 9 fucking o'clock. So
you're gonna be asleep immediately. Like, as soon as you hit the leave button on here, you're gonna be out.
No, I will say though, I have about fuck me. The other one was an hour and a half. This is an hour and a half. I have about 4 hours of uploading to do tomorrow. So fucking thrilled.
You wake up and you watching those fucking pregame shows. You got something to do because I'm trying to get as drunk as possible to not. I want to wake up at 12:30, set my lineup, and fucking scream and go crazy.
Okay. Well, it is literally 12:30 now, so you have literally 12 hours to do that. So you have fun. Fucking degenerate. I will say good luck to everyone on Happy Fantasy Day week thing.
Good luck, everybody, except for your son.
Yeah, that fucking dude can go fuck himself.
Because I'm playing.
I would love to see him beat you just from a fucking just.
Oh man, my soul would crush in half.
I would be so happy. Oh my god. Oh god. I'm just playing that out in my head. I'm like, what could I make you do to fucking embarrass yourself?
And Mahomes already didn't perform up to standard, so I'm already behind the 8 ball. I'm scared.
Well, that's a story of your life, so that's fine. Yeah, I had to get the token dick joke in there. So, all right, boys and girls.
Mahomes.
Yeah,
Oh, you stupid.
But seriously, enjoy tomorrow. Have fun with it. Don't tilt too much, and we will see you. We'll see you on Tuesday.
See you, everybody.
All right, folks. Suck my footballs.